Hello, my name is Ashley Spratling of the Benton Harbor St. Joseph Alumni Chapter. I am here today interviewing Soror-Burks for Deltas on the Frontline. Soror-Burks has been a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated since 1972, which is 44 years in our illustrious sisterhood. Soror-Burks has served in all offices, such as President, Vice President, and Secretary of the local chapter. Soror-Burks has attended almost every national and regional conference for the sorority. Hello, Soror-Burks. Tell me about yourself.
Good morning, Ashley. Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Berrien County. However, I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I love this area, and of course, since my induction into Delta Sigma Theta sorority, I have been able to add to my interest in the community. I'm an educator. I've been a classroom teacher, a building principal. At the central office level, I was director of state and federal programs. And after my retirement, I became president of the Board of Education at the Benton Harbor Area School System.
What inspired your interest in social action?
Well, there's so much to be done. This community is a small, rural, in part, community. It has an industrial element to it. And there have always been people, working class people here. And the needs of the working class have always been evident. The needs of children have been evident. And because of my mother's modeling, so to speak, of how to reach out and help other people, I've been inspired to be involved in social action concerns.
What exactly are some of the social issues and why were they important to you?
Well, education has always been in the forefront for me. I'm the oldest of 6 children. My mother and father didn't have the privilege of attending college, and they always stressed to the 6 of us that education was going to be very fundamental and essential to success and comfort, if you will, in life. So that aspect of social action has always been important. And since I was widowed at an early age, the welfare of children and single parenthood has always been something that I've been interested in.
What do you feel is your greatest contribution towards those social issues?
To social issues?
To the ones you just named.
Oh, well, being able to model for young people, for young women, for children, that hard work, that the work ethic is something to really keep in mind. Being able to encourage and support young people and young women towards reaching their goals, I think, have been important contributions.
What are you most proud of?
Well, I guess I'm most proud of being able to contribute. And I've always been proud of the fact that I've been asked on many, many occasions to speak to young people. Just last week at during the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration at our local college, I did make a few remarks during a forum that was held. And a woman in the audience came up and gave me her card and took my card and asked if I would consider coming to talk to teenagers that she has in a group. So that kind of thing has made me proud.
Thank you. During your time as a civil rights activist, what did you find most satisfying, gratifying, or rewarding?
Well, I was never a fire-eating civil rights activist, but I do remember during the time I was actively involved in education, I was at a conference in Washington, D.C. with the National Association of Black School Educators, and that was during the time that Nelson Mandela was in prison. And they went through the group and asked if we would be willing to go to the African embassy and take part in a march with carrying signs and chanting "Free Mandela." And I did that. I was a little bit apprehensive, but I did it, and at that point I realized that it's a warm feeling. It's an empowering feeling to be part of something that large.
What's the most important thing you've learned?
In all my life.
Yes.
Well, I think I've learned to work hard. All six of us came up being taught, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to get out of life what you put into life. And the world doesn't owe you anything. I think I've learned that hard work, and I've learned that hard work pays off.
What is your greatest challenge and what did you learn from it?
Well, I've had many challenges. I think the greatest challenge actually was picking up the pieces and carrying on with my daughter. She was 13 when my husband, her father, died. And I was in college. I went back because I had a 2-year degree from our local junior college. She was in junior high. I was just 42 years old, and it was challenging to help her because she and her father were extremely close, and she took his death quite hard. So that was a very challenging time in my life.
You mentioned attending college. What was that experience like for you, and did you receive any accomplishments while you were there?
Well, actually, when I was just 17, back in 1946, which was a long, long time ago, I received a very, very small scholarship. It wasn't enough for me to go away to college. And Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo was the closest university to Benton Harbor. And so at that same year, our community had a junior college, Benton Harbor Junior College, open. And so I was able to go to Benton Harbor Junior College. And as a consequence, I'm a member of the first graduating class, and that was in 1948. The college is now Lake Michigan College, but I was a member of their first graduating class. So that accomplishment, as a result of stick-to-itiveness in high school, working hard in high school, that very small scholarship started me on my way.
Congratulations. Who are your heroes and why?
Well, my mom is my hero because she, as I said, she instilled in me and my siblings the need for education. She urged us and insisted that we learn how to work hard. She demonstrated that you can obtain the things that you want by hard work. Some of my other heroes are some of the local community women. There was a woman by the name of Helen Stewart. When I was a young teenager, she wanted all of us to be young ladies. So we came up with that young lady ethic. Along with Helen Stewart always also taught us to volunteer, to help other people. And then there was a woman, Lina Marshall. Lina was the oldest graduate from Western Michigan University, and she pledged Delta Sigma Theta in our local chapter. She was one of my heroes. Very outspoken, very hard-driven woman. She and I became fast friends. I admired her greatly.
Do you have any key lessons from a trailblazer that you would like to share?
Well, I have to keep going back to hard work, to believing in yourself. There's something to be said for trusting yourself, for trusting your own inner voice. And that's not to say that you shouldn't listen to others, because there's so much to be learned from other people. But I think when you have a goal and you know where you want to be, and you honestly want to help other people reach their goals, you seek ways of including other people in the trail that you're blazing, becoming a team leader, so to speak. And so I think all of those attributes, those things can help anyone that wants to blaze a trail get to where they're trying to go.
Thank you.
Okay.
What are some of the things that have made you a trailblazer?
Well, if you talk in terms of being the first, I was the first African American to be hired and trained as a long distance operator at Michigan Bell Telephone Company. That was back in 1952. I was the first African American president of our local branch of the American Association of University Women, that was AAUW. I was quite pleased and proud to be invited to be the director, and I was the first black woman to be a director of a bank. I was on the board of directors of Chemical Shoreline Bank in Benton Harbor. There have been a number of occasions, I think. Now my sister and I have debated this. I believe I was the first female to receive a PhD from Benton Harbor, first graduate of Benton Harbor High School to receive a PhD, but she seemed to remember a young lady who got one before I did. But as old as I am, I don't know. We've never really cleared that up. I've challenged her to look that up for me. Throughout the years, when I think about it, well, I was the first black to do this, I was the first black to do that. Those are some of the things that are first that really stuck with me. I did have an opportunity some years ago. I and a colleague, Dr. Dorothy Rich in Washington, D.C., developed a program, a reading program in Benton Harbor, and my contribution to that program was written up in the education section of the New York Times. I still have a copy of that newspaper, so I'm really very proud of that. So, in my trailblazing, I've had some very rewarding rewards.
Thank you so much, Sorority Burks, for sharing your time with us today.
You're welcome.